Hello everyone, this is Grandmaster Var Akobian with 1000 GM, and we're going to be doing the recap, round 4 recap for the 2022 Sinquefield Cup. We have a big news right before the round. There was a tweet by our world champion Magnus Carlsen that he mentioned he's withdrawing from the tournament, from the remaining 6 games of the 2022 Sinquefield Cup tournament. Of course, there's a huge shock to the world of chess, and there are many people who been tweeting and talking about this. But he didn't give any specific reasons, but he will probably give some more interviews later on when he gets back to Norway, and he will mention the exact reasons. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look at the critical game of the leader of the tournament, Hans Niemann, playing with the white pieces against Alireza Firouzja. Alireza won an excellent game yesterday against Levon Aronian. So here we have a very, very strong matchup, guys, in this round. So here we have Niemann with the white pieces. So let's take a look at this game. He starts out with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6. Knight f6 comes in, just putting pressure on e4 and basically forcing white to make a decision. Are you going to play d3 or are you going to play knight g5? You're going to play the fried liver attack. How are you going to try to respond here? So we go bishop c5, c3, d6, castles, e1, bishop b6. So and now white plays a4. We're going to get to the critical moment. And bishop f1 is the first novelty, the new move played in the game. There was one game actually played previously. In that game, white played the move bishop b3 with the idea to put a knight on c4. But Niemann plays here and Firouzja plays c6, knight c4, and now he takes. The point is now if you take back with the pawn, he actually can play bishop e3 even. So if you take, this could be a problem because after take, you have to take back with the bishop. If you take with the rook, that just loses this beautiful move, bishop b6, hitting your bishop. You take, knight takes, hitting your rook. Rook goes away. Thank you very much for the piece. Okay, so that would be a problem. So that's why Firouzja decided to take with this knight. And here, of course, there is a variation to take, bishop e3. And again, if you take on e4, then there could be some problems. After capture, if you take back with the bishop, you get running to bishop b6, take knight b6 idea. So he has to take back with the bishop and simply knight takes e5. Picking up the pawn, and I think like white is a little bit better here, just a little bit, because development, these pieces are still stuck on the back rank, so it's a little bit better. So, but in the game, Hans didn't take, he played bishop f4, activating the bishop, putting pressure on e5. Knight takes f3, queen takes f3, d5. We see a breakthrough from Firouzja trying to get the pieces out and trying to equalize here, because in this position, if white plays one more move, rook a d1, then I think the position is going to be really problematic because you're going to have a lot more pressure on d6 and it's going to be hard to do anything. So he plays d5, rook a d1, bishop e6. And here is a critical moment here. Here, actually, if you look at the clock, Hans has spent already 35 minutes at this point, and his opponent Firouzja only 25. So there's about 10-minute advantage on the clock here. And here, okay, engines were suggesting the move queen g3, put pressure on the bishop, and if takes, queen takes. And now you cannot take on c4, your queen is hanging. And if you take with the rook, you're going to run into the same problem. Takes, take, you lose the queen. Of course, there is a line that you can go here, but that's going to allow the move rook e5, take on c4, bishop g4, and it's just going to be a tremendous pressure here. Tremendous pressure on e6, and you can go this way, and just going to be a lot of pressure here. So clear advantage for white. In this case, I mean, there is a queen f6 move that is okay, but still after take, let's say rook c5, you end up in a worse endgame because your pawn structure is compromised and white is already quite active, ready to control the open d file. Okay, so you don't really fully equalize, and this could be a very unpleasant defense. So he played. That's why he. I don't know. Queen G3 is very interesting, and if you just take, it's now you have to play some accurate moves like this. Queen B8 takes, and this is absolutely fascinating line. Like if you take with this guy, you're dropping your A5 pawn, so that's no good. If you take with this guy, if knight h6 played, it feels like, oh, this is looking great, but you have this rook a6 idea, which is really puzzling. And if you take, pawn takes, and suddenly this knight is trapped. It's a very unusual idea. You don't see this too often, and now you just cannot go anywhere with a knight. So clear advantage for black, I think, in that position, or slight advantage. So so that didn't happen because Niemann played e5. Now black has two options, knight e4 or knight d7. If you play knight e4, it looks quite good because you can take here, pawn takes, hitting the queen. So that's advantage for black here. And if you play the move knight d2, simply move f6 looks quite strong here. Takes rook f6, and black's pieces are getting more active here. So it's quite a sharp position, but I think it's going to be okay for white. Let's take a look. Rook e4. The computer line is 94, hitting on f6. Check. Rook d8. Yeah, you get into a position like this where you have a queen versus two rooks. You have a pawn, but black has two rooks and two bishops. So, black should be quite happy in this position, but white is fine too. So I would evaluate this as roughly equal here. But Firouzja didn't play this knight e4 move. He played knight d7, and that's a little bit passive. And here is very interesting. If you look at the clock situation, almost immediately after 1 minute, we see a very complex move, Queen G3 played by Niemann here, just abandoning the knight. But the lines are just absolutely crazy after this. Takes G6. I mean, you're just down a piece here for a pawn, and I mean, I don't know, he maybe sacrificed this intuitively. After the game interview, he was very confident that this is really good, but computer doesn't show that this is that good for him. F6, bishop back, G5, takes king f8, and it's just, you can't take on f6, your queen is hanging. So queen f3, bishop d5. It's some line where it looks like at the end of the line, you somehow give a perpetual. And I cannot go here because of, wow, look at this move. You can't take with the knight, you're pinned. You can't take with the bishop, you lose this. Okay. Yeah, you have to basically stay here. Okay, that's pretty complicated. Here again, check. If you go to d6, then okay, that's super sharp, super complex. Take c4. Now it's good for white. All right, back to the game. But here, after spending about nearly 30 minutes, 27 minutes, Firouzja decided not to take. I guess after the interview, he said he basically trusted HANS that this doesn't work, but he should have taken. I think it's very important. He played here, and this is a bad move. Knight d6. Now white is just better. Knight c5. And here, if you look at the position, it's just so great for white. White has a knight on d6, very strong. Rooks are already lined up. I mean, everything is looking great for him. And here, he played rook d4, which I don't think I like it that much. There are many ways to play here. For example, you can just play c4. I'm putting a lot of pressure here. You can't take here because after check, you're going to lose your queen. That's just losing. So let's say you try to take a pawn. CD. CD. Knight takes b7, hitting the queen. Queen goes on e7, rook d4, hitting the knight. If you take on b2, take, and rook goes on h4, and now you're threatening simple mate on h6. So only way to cover that is to play king here, and now queen comes on f4, and again, queen takes h6. It's extremely difficult to defend this, and you're gonna have to actually give up your queen. Queen takes h4, queen takes h4, and white is just winning. So yeah, c4 would have been very strong, and most likely would have given Hans his third consecutive victory in the tournament, but he played rook d4, takes. The knight is now eliminated, and we get to this critical moment here, knight e4, and here you can play perhaps queen h2, but white didn't want to do that. He went for the sacrifice, queen f6. So what do we have here? We have a position where white is up down exchange, but he has a bishop and a very strong pawn, pass pawn on d6. In return, black has a solid bishop, but again, this pawn could be a huge headache here. And here, white had a very strong move just to play bishop e3 with idea bishop d4, putting pressure on g7, and it looks like this would have been a very big advantage and good winning chances for Hans. But instead, he played bishop d3, inaccurate move, bishop f5, and it looks like now Alireza played perfectly. Rook e3, and the critical line is here. You have to play bishop e5. This is where it gets very interesting. Hitting the queen. So this move is this just loses to rook g4, and you just get mated on g7. And if you take here, you lose the queen. So that's bad. So you have to play queen g5, and now rook g4, queen c1, king h2, again threatening on g7, queen takes. Now threatening mate here. If you play f6, you're just going to get mated here. So that's just going to be very bad. So you play the move queen g5, and now queen e4. Now queen d4, and it looks like white is just going to be dominating after f4, c4, c5, very concrete. But it's not so easy because rook a d8 is very strong, f4, c4, and all you need is one more move to put the pawn there, and then you can play queen c3 and just try to take. But here black has a fantastic move, b6. Now trying to play this move c5 himself, and if you take rook d6, and suddenly black might be, even better, because if takes, queen takes. So it looks like bishop f5 is a draw somehow, but again, yeah, you're not playing for a win already here with white, so it's just equal. So this b6 is actually a critical move in this position. Without b6, I think white plays c5 and have excellent winning chances. But the move rook e3 here, this was very interesting to see if Hans would have gone for it, but he didn't. He just played rook e3, and from here on the game simplified. Queen e3. Another critical moment was here, and here white could take on h6, but it's only good enough for a draw takes, and it's not surprising. You have to go here because otherwise rook g3 check is very strong. Just lose, and here it's actually, if you think you can go here, this would be a huge mistake, because after this move you're actually just losing the game, because you cannot take here. You're gonna lose to the check, and I can just check here and simply take back, and you're down 2 pawns and you're losing. So the reason this is losing, because let's say you make a neutral move, I have this d7 move, and now if you take, I can take on d8, and if you go here, you're occupying your escape square, and you lose to this move, rook g3, because you're going to get mated or lose your queen. So Hans didn't play this move, bishop b3. Okay, I thought, okay, probably now he's going to go for bishop h6, and here he played actually inaccurate move, g4, and he only had 8.5, 9 minutes here, and I thought maybe Alireza is going to get some chances now. Bishop c5, queen a4. Here, I think Alireza just mentioned he was under so much pressure the whole game. He was just kind of happy to get a draw here, but I think, yeah, he could have put some problems for Hans here. Maybe start out with the move king g8. Just improve the position of the king and defend. Because bishop d4, by the way, threatens mating too. Check and here. So you don't want to do anything hasty like this, because you're just going to get mated. It will be very embarrassing. So rook e6 was played. Now this bishop gets in here. And here actually black has chances, but he was just worried about the position, so he played check. King here, rook e1. And apparently here things are looking good for black. Some checks coming. White doesn't have any clear ideas what to do here, so there are some chances here for white. But again, Black didn't think he can win this, so he was just happy to simplify the position again. He can maybe play a4 here, but he just took, simplify the position, and so the players repeated, and game ended in a draw. So another very good game for Hans. He actually seemed a little bit disappointed because he knew he had some winning chances early on, and yeah, he had a big advantage after he put that knight on d6. So Aronian game ended in a draw against Dominguez, and Niemann was a draw against Firouzja. Carlsen, as you know, withdrew from a tournament, so Mamediyarov got a forfeit win, but Carlsen's games are going to be nullified, so it's basically he didn't play in this tournament because he didn't play half of the games. Wesley So had a quick draw against Jan Nepomniachtchi, and Fabiano Caruana, the other American star, had a marathon game against marathon game against Maxime Vacher-Lagrave, but he managed to win, so he's going to be happy about that. It was a very long game. It was a queen end game, but he managed to win that. So again, the big news is Magnus Carlsen withdrew from a tournament after 3 games, and that was the big buzz today, guys. So, and still a lot of exciting chess to be played. This was only round number 4, so we'll have 5 more exciting games, and of course 5 exciting recaps of the day. So at the moment, Wesley So and Hans are leading the tournament with the +1 score. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll be back with more recap coverage for you tomorrow for round number 5. See you. Bye-bye.